Hello. Good day. Good morning. Welcome back to the show that never ends, except at 12 o'clock. So, if you guys are just joining, I want to welcome you back to the greatest trading show that's ever been, the Hit the Bid radio broadcast. I am your host, Kenny Glick, and I am the number one day trader on the internet and possibly in the world. And over the last several days, I have reestablished myself as just that, a day trader. And that's all I do. I'm in 100% cash now and I will not return. I don't ever intend to put on a call spread, selling puts, doing short strangles, owning stocks, swing trading, none of it. I have a trade that works every single time it shows up. I've never seen anything like that before in my life, and now it's going to be 5 years in October, and I really haven't taken many losses on those trades. So I've decided finally that I'm only going to take those trades and only talk about those trades. If anybody wants to talk about the future of the market, I'm going to go out on a limb and say we're going to be higher next year, 2 years from now, 3 years from now, and also 5 years from now. It's irrelevant. What we try to do each day here is we try to make a day's pay, if not 2 days' pay, if not 3 days' pay. And recently, these days have been so extraordinary that it's an easy reminder that you don't have to own stocks. You don't have to swing trade. You don't have to do anything, especially if you have a trade that works this well and shows up what used to be rare 3 or 4 times a day. Now you're finding 20 to 30 to 40 or 50 different opportunities each day. But sometimes opportunity, when there's too many opportunities, you don't know which one to take. And that's why I'm here. I'm here to whittle the list down. And my list usually consists of trading the QQQ, a stock that reported earnings, and some weird penny stock that nobody knows about except for me every morning. And today it was QUCY. If you guys were participating with us last week, got paid again on the trade. And we're not in it right now. I'm not in it right now. I'm not in anything right now, and I'm loving life. A couple other ideas I was looking at. StubHub sprung to life a couple of days ago. It's interesting. Again, please don't take any of the words that I'm saying anymore, ever, as a suggestion to buy, to hold. I don't own stocks. I'm not swing trading. So we've been talking about this idea. So let's say I stumble onto a stock like StubHub, and I'm very interested. And it looks like something that I want to own. And just to give you a backstory with StubHub, I bought the IPO because I thought it was going to be awesome, and it was the opposite of awesome. Got crushed. Sold it, and it kept going down. So that was a good thing. And I gave it another shot coming out of this pattern, and it got rejected at its lifetime VWAP, and I got crushed again. Hate the stock. I have no reason to like it. But now, after doing what I call the Andy Dufresne pattern, going sideways in the muck, coming out of the muck, and holding above the muck, this is one of those situations where I say to myself, I like this name. It looks like it's going to go higher. And it lends to the idea that maybe you want to own it for a couple of days. No, not me. I don't want to own nothing. I want to come in the next day, and I take that under advisement, and I'm like, hey, that StubHub was pretty good on Friday. Maybe I get another chance at it today with the 1 minute multi-day VWAP reversal. So instead of owning it, and again, if you would have bought it last week at 8 or change, but imagine you bought it at the end of the day. And you heard, hey, I love this StubHub. And you walked in, it was down 50 cents. Hey, this is not really good. And next thing you know, it rips. So again, this is a perfect example. I isolate a name on a longer term chart to stay focused on it short term. So then I add that to my watch list, kind of like what I've been doing my whole life. I find something, it's interesting for 3 or 4 days. Sometimes it goes 6 to 12 days. The next thing you know is 3 months later and the stock's still ripping. It's a bull market. And by the way, before we go any further, I'd like to do a bull market test with you guys now that we're seeing some red on the screen. Open the window. If you don't have any windows in your room, I hope you do. Get up. Go look outside. Is the sun up? And don't bust my balls if it's cloudy. I mean, if the sun came up today, guess what? Still a bull market. Now for the back test. Now do this. Ready? Inhale. Did your lungs get filled with some sort of substance? Well, bull market. All right. That's all you need to do every morning. Test to see if we're still in a bull market. There you go. So you know we're still in a bull market and we're still above generational lows. Generational lows right now are prices where we've had a significant pullback that has held and continues to hold. And so far, every time I've said generational lows, those remain generational lows. Now, we're finally seeing a rounding, some profit taking. And if you're looking at the stock on my screen, it's Cerberus. One of the mantras of the moronic bears are this crescendo moments, right? Just like Alibaba back in the day, if you remember Facebook, where everyone's anticipating something and it's an overall sell across the board. It happens. It's called a crescendo moment. So what's been rallying? The Cerberus world has been rallying. Quantum, chips, photonics, Cerberus is involved, semi. And obviously, if you haven't noticed what's been going on, we've just had the most parabolic move in the history of the market. In history, it's amazing. You should take note that you're living through an historical moment. So just like Facebook and the internet stocks had a crescendo when Facebook came public, Alibaba was so popular, you had a kind of a couple of months of selling after that one. This is that same moment. Cerberus is out. Nobody was buying this stock. I don't think anybody made money on it if you bought the IPO. I think it was like 400. Promptly fell about 100 points. It's battling around here. I was waiting to see if it held 250 on the pullback. I'm not interested in buying it. None at all. I want to see if it goes back to 185. But the idea is that it's a crescendo moment, and they put a short-term top. And that's just my opinion. I believe the market's going higher. So this moment that we're in right now could all be exaggerated by NVIDIA or engulfed by NVIDIA. So what does that mean? In the next couple of days, I forgot what day it was. Let me go check. They're not reporting tonight, are they? All right. Am I frozen? I'm frozen in time. What happened? Earnings whispers. This freezes up from time to time. All right, definitely not tonight. NVIDIA, was it Tuesday, Wednesday? Wednesday night. Oh, I won't even be here for the NVIDIA numbers. Oh, terrible. But the whole game, no matter what happens today, tomorrow, into Wednesday, the whole game changes again Wednesday night when the king of all chip stocks reports. Will it be in a downtrend being confirmed, or will it be in a downtrend that gets destroyed, or will we be breaking all-time highs? I don't know. I don't care. All I know is that NVIDIA has been great to trade on earnings day, the day after, because it's been pretty damn good to fade. And then the dips were bought. It's been phenomenal. Like I said, I'm living my life like there's no tomorrow. I trade. I try to do as best I can for the day. I make the money. I book the money. And then I don't trade anymore. And usually by 11 o'clock, I'm done. So by 12, I'm a dinosaur. I don't like trading between 12 and 3 because it doesn't work for me. And the reason it doesn't work for me is that we trade breakouts, faux show bros, which is the end part is a breakout, rollovers, which are the sell-offs, where you'll get some acceleration. Usually and you're seeing it already, this is what you get between 12 and 3. Choparooski. Can you trade the chop? Obviously. It's just, for me, it doesn't have the follow-through that I want. I don't want to be that patient. I don't want to be that disciplined. I want bigger moves, and those bigger moves are happening pre-market between 8 and 9:20. Obviously, the open is a whole different beast. As we walk through people at the open today, it was Baidu short, but if you weren't ready to trade the open, you missed the first move. And then you've got the 9:45 till about 12 o'clock, which is my sweet spot. And usually by 12 o'clock, I'm done with trading. And when I say done with trading, done. Like it's over. I don't trade between 12 and 3. And now that the summer's here, I'm not even going to be here after 12 o'clock. I'm going to enjoy my life, do the best I can for those 4 wonderful hours, make some money, guide you through it, and make sure you understand what we're doing, how to profit from the wonderful trading environment that we're in, get paid, and treat this like a job. And when the boss says you can come home, you can go home early, you might as well pack your shit up and go. Now, listen, we love what we do. Solid can't stop talking. I can't stop talking. And soon we're going to have a couple of new guests in here from time to time who can't stop talking either. And it's going to be great. A lot of information here. But sometimes it backfires, right? The longer you stay in the casino, you are going to lose your discipline. You keep walking by that blackjack table, everybody's yelling and screaming, you want to join in. I'm not joining in. I know when the casino's paying off, and I know when it's not paying off. The pit boss invites me over to the table, says, hey, buddy, you got an 85% chance of winning right now. And then he looks at me, and he shakes his head. He calls me aside. You might want to leave the table now. Yeah, nobody's going to win now. This is where we win all money back. You might as well leave. Thanks, guy. I'm off. And I go to the bar, go see a show, or go home. And that's the same. We are in a casino, and it's rigged. And the rigging works its best at the pre-market, the beginning of the day. But taking away the education, being in the room, if you're going to spend the whole day, just make sure you're ultra disciplined. Make sure you're not putting trades on because you feel like it. Don't lose the discipline because you're bored. It's a terrible, terrible trade, putting on a trade because you are bored. You put on trades because you believe you have risk reward in your favor, a high percentage chance of winning money, and that's it. And those times are usually pre-market. And again, let's just call it 8 to 12, which is what it is. Does that mean you can't keep learning throughout the day when our pal Solid shows up and who navigates the chop better than anybody on earth? No. But I'm here to make money and run. Stick and move, Rock. Stick and move. And if you haven't heard, I have no portfolio. I am not swing trading. I have got rid of every naked call, strangle, any type of collar or different strategy that I was talking about over the last 3 months. It's over for me. We've had the nice run. I participated in best as I could, and I'm done now. I'm 100% cash, and I'm not coming back. And if you even hear me say the word call spread and suggest you put a call spread, I'm only joking. Call spreads are the worst thing you'll ever do to your life. The worst. Sorry, selling naked calls is the worst thing you could do. Call spreads are a second. Sorry, you got to throw buying options into earnings reports is up there with what not to do. My point is there's a lot of things not to do. And that's trading. I've tried everything, right? I know what doesn't work, right? And for me, it's generally swing trading doesn't work. But this market's been conducive for it, and now it's over for me. I don't want to know about these companies. I don't want to be involved in pullbacks. I don't want to be in part of any of this. To me, day trading is the least risky of all the trading because I'm in control. The day's over. The bell rings. I know we have overnight and blah, blah, blah. It's almost 24 hours of trading nowadays, but still, I'm in control between 8 and 12, best as I can be, 12 to 4. Once you start holding stocks overnight into earnings reports, now you're in the hands of the matrix and you just don't know what's going to happen. And that's where we're at. So today I'll show you a couple of trades that were interesting. Baidu was a short opportunity. And, you know, this is one of those trades where there was a mini opportunity over here, but nobody was awake. It really never really broke trend. It was above VWAP, just grinding higher, grinding higher. And as I explained to people, you just don't know what's going to happen at the beginning of the day. That's the opening trade. Then it opened, 9:30. So the classic fader, it doesn't matter what stock it is. It doesn't matter what they've reported. It doesn't matter what sector it is. They see a stock that's gapped up, and they're anticipating an opening fade of profit taking. So all they're doing is they're shorting the open. As soon as the bell rings, they hit the sell button. They're shorting, and they're using the opening highs as their outs. And if there's anything else around, in this case, there wasn't. So what were they going to use? They were going to use the 145, biggest, fattest whole number nearby. It would have broke 145. That click, it would have got out. But it did tank. So within that 12 seconds, 15 seconds, 20 seconds in, it's breaking VWAP. Short it. And then look what it did. It got to the prior day VWAP. 1 minute to the multi-day, the wonderful rigging of this market. But then you had a chance. If you're afraid to trade the open, you missed the first burst of activity. Then you got a little faux show. And then it tries to rally. But that rally failed and just created a new double top. There's a new opportunity to short as it starts to roll. Now you're using the tops of this candle and that candle and the VWAP as your out. So just 2 minutes into the day, you have a lot of more information. And the second short was pretty good. And then you've got the fake them out, shake them out area. And then once it breaks back above the shakeout, the trade's over. And we've gone sideways ever since. So it wasn't a bad trade. It's pretty good. Even if you didn't catch the open, the second short was pretty good. And then you fast forward to our new stock, QUCY. If you guys were watching this, little pre-market action we had. And then one move right here when it broke back over the 399. Some of us got paid, rolls back over, gets stopped out, and now none of us are in this stock anymore. And then you had the QQQ, which for me was a long trade this morning because fake them out, shake them out, VWAP break, VWAP hold, ass crack break, multi-day VWAP break, no reason to be a shorter. And then it rolled over, broke the prices where I sold it on the way up, on the way back down, trade's over, no longer in this. I am what they call flat. And now I'm in my favorite position, guru mode. I'm here to serve. That's my purpose in life. And there was a sector rotation going on. And it's only 11:21 in the morning. So what's sector rotation? Well, let me explain. The market doesn't like to go down, right? So what does it do? When money comes out of some sectors, it finds itself going into another sector. And if you can isolate the sector rotation as a day trader quickly, then you could participate in some other stocks. So if you were trading the Baidus and the Qs and some of the names, and we saw what was happening, energy and oil. And everybody should have a couple of go-to names when energy and oil comes back. How about rig? You guys know about rig? Everybody loves themselves some rig. Look at that move. And if you know rig, then you know Oxy. And if you know Oxy, you know APA. And if you know APA, you know Halliburton. And if you know Halliburton, you know BTU. And if you know BTU, you know Cliff. Well, that one's not so hot, but had a nice move. So as you progress as a day trader, right, there's an abundance of opportunity every day. Usually with stocks that are in play, like your penny stocks, like Quincy and GovX today. A couple of earnings. There was only one to choose from, so I was stuck with the Baidu. Usually there's 3 to 5, maybe 10 to 15 when earnings season is raging. And then you have your go-to names. Everybody should be familiar with at least 3 names in every sector. If I say rare earths, you say USAR. You say USAR, you should know about MP. I say MP, you say USAR, then you say UAMI. And then if I say, give me some nuclear names and with that do rare earth, you say UUU. You say OKLO. You know SMR. And as the days go by, the hours of the day go by, and you start to see rotation, and I say, hey, looks like the quantum names are coming up. So then you go check your Xanadu, which is one of my new favorite stocks, which kind of stinks, but it's fun to trade. Xanadu. You got IonQ. I say IonQ, you say Rigatoni. I say Rigatoni, you say QBTS. He says QBTS, he says QUBT. And now you got quantum names. So there's always something to do. There's always a sector that's catching a bid. The rotation is relentless. The days where there's no rotation, those are the days where the market gets slammed. And how often does that happen? Once every so often. And that's where we're at right now, my friends. And it is the greatest trading market that's ever been. And let me just go back to exemplify what I'm trying to explain one more time. StubHub, right? You can look long-term, but stay short-term. So long-term chart, this thing's finally looking pretty good. Do I want to own it? Oh, I don't own stocks. Do I want to swing trade it? I don't swing trade. So tomorrow, I take what it's done for the last 4 or 5 days under advisement. I know where it looks like it's going to break out to. And then I wait for that trade tomorrow to be validated. And if it does this again, I'm like, oh yeah, StubHub. This has been pretty awesome. Oh, look, there's that trade I love so much on the stock that I was prepared to buy in the first place. And then I go after it. And if you get a stock that goes from 850 to 9 and change, that is a day trader's dream. And that is where we're at. Stub does look good. Yeah, but we'll see what happens tomorrow. You know what actually came back to life? And I like when these awful stocks come back to life, they usually get 3 decent days. Jemmy. Some rumblings over here. They were trying to defend the stock, but it had its 3 days, and it's over. Oh, sorry, I only had 2 days. Oh, it didn't even make it through the second day. Wow, it actually blew the top off that same day. Yeah, this stock's going to zero. But guys, if you know some of these names that we just added to our favorite list, Nokia, just awesome. Been real fun to trade lately. Today, obviously, 1 minute multi-day VWAP reversal to the downside. Keep an eye on this. This is no joke, friends. This is in a realm that you never thought Nokia would be in ever again. Stock was left for dead. That's the Andy Dufresne. You come out of Andy Dufresne, you run. Just say what Teneo. So if you want to look at a chart, take a look at Nokia. Hi. So not only did you Andy Dufresne over the 3 years, and you broke a 5-year, 10-year, you're looking at a 16-year break. That's pretty bullish. So if this consolidates, let's call it between 1075 and where you're at right here, this bad boy is going to consolidate and looks like it might be something real special headed down, headed back to these 20s, a realm that hasn't been seen since 08. That's incredible. So Nokia back on the watch list, staying on the watch list. And if you are just joining us, let me explain to you what the Andy Dufresne is if you don't know. Well, first of all, if you don't know, it's a movie called Shawshank Redemption, which you should have seen. It's only one of the top 10 movies of all time with Morgan Freeman. And I can never remember his name, but Andy Dufresne. What's Andy Dufresne's real name? Nathan? Ethan? Something? Tim Robbins. Wow. I never would have got that. Yeah, that was one of those names where I just can never remember. I always just think, what's that movie where he scared the hell out of me with the acid movie? When he was like a Vietnam. It was one of his first movies. Scared the shit out of me, that movie. What was the name of that movie? You know it. Rochelle Bones, I did. I emailed you. I remembered your email. Actually, some of you guys got emails addresses that are defunct. I got a couple of those mailer demons things that come back. Oh, wait, before we go any further, what's the Tim Robbins movie when he was having flashbacks? Oh my God. I don't want to look it up. I don't want to cheat. I should be able to remember this. Jacob's Ladder. Thank you very much. All right, before we go any further, I want to show you SOXL. Yeah, but more importantly, the Qs right now. So what we're in right now is called a rounding top, right? The market's trying to round off. It's rounding. Still got generational lows right there, which is where I think we're headed. Today, we're headed to test those overnight lows. We have finally stopped going up. Does that mean the bull market's over? Does that mean we're going to crash or correct? No, we just stopped going up. It's about time. It's been pretty much 40 days straight up, right? So now the Cerberus, the camp of the Cerberus blow off top moment, they're right. So there's an idea that when these big IPOs come out, and I'm being redundant here, but it's worth repeating. These big IPOs come out, like the Facebook, like the Baidu, the Alibaba, especially the move that we were in. It's this crescendo moment. Like, all right, Cerberus is out. Now let's just dump everything else and see where we're at. And that's what we're in right now. And it's about time. We've rallied from 555 to 720 without really any significant pullbacks, except that one about 7 days ago. But that one now, well, it's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days ago. Man, it seems like it was like an ancient history already. That, if we break there, that's when the uptrend, this monstrous uptrend, will officially be broken. And then if we break here, that's when you start thinking we get back to a monthly VWAP and you get some, another 22 points to the downside, which is still insignificant compared to this monstrous move we're in. But it is what it is. You take it under advisement. You look at the long-term chart to get an overall feel for what may happen the next day. And then you stay focused on what is happening on that day. So let's talk about SOXL, right? The leader of all of this. Same exact chart pattern, right? Monstrous move, biggest move in the history of mankind. Not an exaggeration. This was the biggest move in the history of mankind for a sector to do what this did. Fake them out, shake them out at $43 to tack on 150 points. I still can't believe it happened, and I lived it. Makes no sense, but it makes all the sense in the world because, again, we're in a short squeeze industrial revolution market right now, controlled by the government. It's fantastic. But, sometimes it just goes 20%, 30% higher than you ever think it was going to go. And this one went up 200% more I thought it was going to go. It really is incredible. But now you're finally seeing some profit taking. So let's assume you're delusional enough to think the market could actually stay down today and actually go down tomorrow, right? You're not staying short overnight. But now that you're seeing this action, you could come in tomorrow looking for a reason to short something, wait for the confirmation. So that's what I've been doing. If I'm gonna be bearish a market that really doesn't want to go down, I'm gonna take it under advisement and wait to see something that I need to confirm. And for instance, this clock sell today, 1 minute, multi-day, VWAP break, pre-market pivot break. That's a reason to believe we're going down. And you did. So anyway, same thing with the silver trade. I got absolutely destroyed on this trade the last 3 days. I bought the breakout and wow, completely false breakout. I was in right here. And then I'm thinking, no way is this not about to tack on 40 points, and it drops 27 points. Absolutely got lit up. Happens. And that's another reason why I don't like swing trading, because I was like, all right, how much worse can it get? And then I checked my phone later that day. I'm like, oh, it got a lot worse. So that was pretty horrible. And again, listen to the words I just said. I checked my phone later on, a la swinging. I'm not doing that anymore. I'm not swinging. I don't own. No call spreads, no collars, no short strangles. 100% cash, silver, guns, and real estate. That's what I own. And toys and baseball cards. But, did you see my email, Mrs. Bones? May I call you Miss Bones? Which is a great screen name if you haven't used it yet. Ms. Bones. Would it be Mrs. Bones or Ms. Bones? And again, I'm just assuming you're a woman. I don't know why. I guess Rochelle. Rochelle. Yo, MC.
Yo, END, man, what's up, man? There go that girl they call Roxanne. She's all stuck up. Why you say that? Cause she wouldn't give a guy like me no rap. But she was walking down the street, so I said, hello,
Can't go from your TFO.
And she so I said, so, baby, don't you know I can sing rap dance in just one show? Cause I'm
Can't go.
Mr. Sophisticator. As far as I know, ain't nobody great.
From beginning to end to beginning.
I never used to cause a mess about skinning.
Everybody's every rap song. And remember when that was the number one song in the country? Roxanne! Oh, the innocent days of the 80s. So while you got me here, talk to me. Anybody have any questions, concerns? Going forward, anybody coming to Nashville? We're going to be gathering in Nashville, doing a 48-hour chart geek fest. Marshall, we are going Wednesday. Most of the events Thursday and Friday. Thursday is going to be one long day. We got lots of little. Everyone of the team gets about a half an hour to present. We'll talk about everything that everybody likes, and then we have lunch, and then a coffee break, and then we have a dinner at this great steakhouse down the road, and then off to I got a couple of us are going to sneak away and go to a speakeasy underneath the Johnny Cash Museum. Make sure, by the way, if you are planning on coming to the speakeasy, you got to wear a jacket. It's super fancy. So bring a sports jacket, or they'll charge you $20 to rent one. They don't let you in without wearing a jacket. And then Friday we reconvene at the hotel. I'll do my little VWAP and stuff between 11:30 and 12. And then we have a nice lunch, and then we fly home. Yeah, this week, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, mostly Thursday. JC's putting together it's one of them stock nerd sit around a drum circle talking about how much we love everything. Oh my God, look at that. I said circle and he typed in circle. SRCO. What levels are you looking at to read along? Let me see. That's a weird coincidence. See, that's how the matrix works. Actually, right here, that is a nice little setup because the 107.50 held, and that's the 110. Couldn't ask for more. I'd rather buy it on the way up. Obviously, 110 breaks, gets to the 111, and you're onto something. But if this chop leads to a breakdown, then you're going right back to that 105, 102 area. Got rejected at the yearly VWAP last week. Speaking of quantum, these stocks got hammered. After IonQ reported and Rigatoni, they're all right back into downtrends in a market that really, they're like kind of leading the charge to the downside. Quantum is not looking good. No, just watching it. I haven't even put a trade on. I'm not interested really. I was more interested to see how the market would react if it would be a blow off top crescendo. And it was for now. I'm waiting to see if it pulls back to 250. If it doesn't hold 250, you could go right back to the IPO price of 185. Yeah, I don't buy IPOs when they start at over 300. I don't buy them if they start over 50. Usually, I'm not interested. But right now, it has, it's kind of put a little wall on the stock on the market for now. So I'm already looking forward to tomorrow, right? Or tonight. I'm looking forward to Wednesday night. I won't be here, but maybe I'll get on the broadcast somehow, watching how Nvidia trades. Either it's gonna break this market down, or it's just gonna create a new breakout to all-time highs across the board. It's a big day, as they say, the most important earnings season of our life. Well, the ICR is on the verge of breaking down also, and that's the earnings point right there. If it breaks under earnings, you got to expect it to go back to the 210. But I'm really not trying to comment on long-term trading. I don't really care. I told you I'm out of everything right now. I'm not coming back. So every trade is just a trade for me intraday. And this one has been a short the last 3 or 4 days, actually. That's a pretty hefty fall too. I mean, it is what it is. A $250 stock that was, up 400%. But it looks like it's going to go test those recent lows, which is another 15 or 20 points to the downside. Quantum was the next big narrative. Yeah, it will be. But these companies don't make any money. They're just shells. Most of them don't even do quantum. It's just the names of companies like QUCY, which is Quantum Cyber, which to me says porn. I don't know. For all I know, this is a porn company. I have no idea what it is, but the name of the company is Quantum Cyber, and it doesn't want to die. So I've been trading it in the last 3 or 4 days. But quantum inevitably will be a thing. It has to be. But it's been semis and photonics and anything in that realm. Like even like companies like ATOM, which if you know anything about it, all they do is they're like one little cog in a major supply chain of photonics. They do what they do. Anybody has anything to do with photonics, it's been hot. But now they all have to cool off. And then you'll have some that cool off, roll over, and die. And then you have the cool off ones that'll break out. Within 3 to 6 months, we'll know which ones are the real good ones. But again, it's irrelevant to me now. I just want to get paid intraday. Same thing with all these sectors, right? Like MP, USAR. Now that USAR is getting hammered again, you got to be looking at it as a buy tomorrow, right? So now it holds this 1 year support. Tomorrow we wait to see if it fakes them out, shakes them out. Definitely looking to buy USAR tomorrow. Or if it breaks down, chances are it could be going back down another 2 or 3 points, maybe even give back the whole thing back to 1750. Right? MP, same stock, right? They're all the same stocks. When the sector's moving, the sector's moving. Right now, the money's rolling into energy, oil, the rigs right now, about to break out. Looking for that thing to get back into the eights again, finally. The Roxys, the Apaches, even the BTU, trying to find some love back down there where it ripped from earlier. Halliburton, obviously, one of my faves. It's my go-to name anytime the market crashes. The first stock I usually buy is Halliburton because it's controlled by the government. It is the Illuminati. Thank you for letting me get back there. So let's talk about that Andy Dufresne. Yeah, we got sidetracked by trying to figure out what his name was. So Andy Dufresne patterns, right? Let's go back to what stock we were looking at. Which one's that was classic example? Nokia. Thank you. So let me also elaborate on who Andy Dufresne is. Let me see if I could get this. I think they have that scene in there. Andy Dufresne, sewer pipe. So prison for his inevitable escape attempt. And part of that was him tunneling to the prison into the sewer itself and then had to work his way through about a mile of raw sewage. And there he is working his way. And then he comes out and he runs. Wouldn't you? Runs for his life. Free. And then, of course, now he's in all his glory. And you see what he's doing? He's holding up the Kardashian bottom pattern right there. His head is the pivot point. So when Andy Dufresne comes out, there's usually an attempt to rally somewhere in the middle of that. Until that moment, nobody knew who he was, except on paper. Anyway, if you haven't seen Shawshank Redemption, stop what you're doing right now and go watch it. Secondly, so the idea is that the reason I love being a bear is that I find these trades. When a stock goes sideways, it's in the sewer pipe. There's always an attempt to break out of the prison, and it goes back into the sewer pipe. Comes out of the sewer pipe back above the area where it got rejected once before. That's known as the Kardashian bottom. Here's a butt cheek. There's another butt cheek. There's it coming out, and it runs to say Wataneo to hang out with his friend, escape the prison. It works on a daily basis, but most of the time it's coming off a long-term chart, kind of like some of these photonic stocks when we were introduced to VICR, Andy Dufresne, Kardashian bottom break, and the stock went from 66 to 320. Stocks like Lightpath, kind of in that same mode. This was a more than a 12-year attempt, and then it came out, it went back in, came back out, and ran 400%. So that's kind of what it is. So the longer you're down in the muck and you come out, usually the further you run from the mess that you just left behind. And you find those intraday as well. Stock goes sideways, tries to rally, goes back, then later that day it comes out of that muck. That's a pretty good trade usually. Or the way I look at them, I try to find them. I try to find these longer term charts, and then I stay focused on that stock because now I know it's busting out. Kind of like Nokia coming out of a 20-year Andy Dufresne, which is absolutely nuts that we've been talking about Nokia. But look at this chart. You had the OG of Andy Dufresne's underneath. This is a 10-year VWAP, broke here, ripped. Now you're out of this is going on a 18-year breakout. You think Andy wants to go run to his friends up here? Probably. And that's why Nokia is on our main watch list now, because it's been pretty damn great. And now today, you're having some sellers still above yesterday's lows. Nothing to see here except it was a decent short. And you just watch this now for the next couple of days. Consolidation will lead to a breakout, so forth and so on. You want to slap them from saying it's a bad movie, or it's just overly used? And what's your favorite movie of all time? Go. Not only did oh my God, you like Snatch? Yeah, that's a pretty good movie. I watched, my favorite movie of all time is Jaws, and there's everything else is a distant second. Jaws to me is like the greatest movie ever. It's like beyond. As much as it gets accolades, I still think it's underappreciated because it was made in 1975. Anyway, The Goonies. Oh, pump up the volume with Christian Slater. Oh my God, I love that movie. But it went from Jaws 1 to Jaws 2, which wasn't bad. But then came Jaws 3 when they tried to make a 3D version of it. And then Jaws 4, The Revenge. Possibly back-to-back the worst movies ever made. Ever. And they just destroyed the whole franchise. Oh, Braveheart. Yeah, definitely up there. Like, you know what I look at as a good movie? What movie that you're just flipping through channels, it's on, and you have to watch it? To me, Pulp Fiction, no matter what scene, I'm in. Oh, I know this scene, and you watch the scene. Doesn't matter. It's always a good scene, right? Every time. Heat, another one. Except Heat, it gets drawn out a little bit, even though it's a fantastic movie. Character development went a little bit too far. They could have cut at least a half an hour off that movie, but phenomenal movie. Goodfellas like that. Yeah, exactly. You can pick up from any scene. Godfather, Godfather 2. Oh my God, The Green Mile. I love that movie, but it was so damn sad that I could never watch it more than I watched it like twice. That movie makes me mad. They could have saved the guy. Could have saved him. Could have pardoned him. And there are movies that are the acting is so great that you inevitably hate the person. Like, what's that chubby guy? Noah something? No, I can never remember his name. The douche guy from Wolf of Wall Street. He was so great in that movie that I hate him now, and I can't look at his face. Jonah Hill. He was so damn good in that movie, playing that scammy, scummy degenerate. I just can't look at him anymore. Caddyshack. There you go. Oh my God, Scrooged. Would you please, for the love of God, stop the goddamn hammering? The original Caddyshack, which one was it? Was Caddyshack 2 where they brought. Wait, what was Caddyshack 2? Is that when they. Oh, that was Jackie Mason. First one was Rodney Dangerfield, right? We're all getting laid. The 13th Warrior. Is that the Ghost movie one where they had to fight the ghost, the samurai ghost? Oh, Groundhog Day, phenomenal. I sail. I'm a sailor. Dr. Marvin, I sail. All right, that's What About Bob. Sorry, right. Right. Got my Bill Murray's crossed. I'm a sailor. I sail. Oh, Eyes Wide Shut. Crazy movie. No. You know, that movie wasn't so great except for that scene, which made the whole movie. Mall, mall. Every time we go to the mall, I start singing that. Mall. Speaking of movies, my son finally sat down and watched Goodfellas yesterday. It's about time. Boom, 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 boom. So I'm going to leave you with this. And hold on a second. Oh my God, it's in reverse to make it even more creepy. Mall. Oh, Bronx Tale. Come on now. Nobody cares. That's where that line's from. Nobody cares. So let me talk about a couple ideas before I'm leaving. Wolf, and these are kind of signs that the market is actually topping up. Some of the pump and dumps are finally running out of steam. Wolf, MRAM, AAOI. So you're starting to see money's finally coming out of these sectors, and remember, it'll get worse before it gets better. Then it'll get oversold, then they'll bounce, and then we'll see what's up. But right now, we're in what my mentor would call the topping formation, the oil tanker turning. The market cannot make a right angle. So it has to go up, turn, and then its big ass is still sticking up in the air, and then it turns. And that momentum, all this momentum, finally got stopped, and now it's made the turn. As my mentor said, it's going to be hard for that momentum to come back the other way. So you have to wait till this momentum ends. And now you've got a little momentum to the downside. And you look for it to retrace back to where we've come. But the one thing I want to warn you about is that this is just still a profit-taking, nothing pullback. And how do I know that? UVXY is red. So can you make money shorting finally over the last couple of days? Yeah. But please be cautious. Remember, it's not going to last. But now you've got a reason to believe you haven't even tested the overnight lows yet. You're almost there. And if you break there, now you're actually in a mini downtrend. So look at 5 days worth of VWAP. Look at 10 days. Let's see where we could fall. Oh, look what we just discovered together, right? Right? We're like the Christopher Columbuses of VWAP. Now let's get rid of all these lines so I can clean this up for you. Look at that. So the last time we sold off, it was to the 10-day. Now we're selling off again to the 10-day. So now you got a double bottom 10-day VWAP support. If that breaks, then you have no reason not to believe. Double negative. Yes, you have a reason to believe. I'll make it easier. You have a reason to believe that you're going to go down another 6 or 7 points. And if we get that, then you're looking at the monthly. And that's where we're at. But right now, for me, if you guys are shorting the wolf, I love you. It's one of my plays from this morning. Not in it right now, but the wolf, the lunars, the AOIs, a lot of these stocks have gone 2, 3, 5, 8, 1,200% moves. So rational thought is finally here that there should be some profit taking. It's about time. But don't let it go to your head. Be cautious if you're a shorter. Keep disciplined. Don't lose your focus. All right? I'll see you in cyberspace. Have a great rest of your day, and I will see you tomorrow. If there is a tomorrow.